In this video, we're going to talk about the K2 Worldwide Weapon, or WWW. This is one of the boards that pioneered the jib board revolution. It's got a lower swing weight to it. It was one of the first with a slight volume shift so you could downsize on it. In the last few years, it's actually gotten stiffer than it used to be. This is a jib board that's not a full-blown noodle, but it's not middle of the road. It's got snap and pop to it, but not a lot. You're going to be working it hard. This is a board that's meant to be ridden hard and destroyed. This board features K2's twin rocker profile, which is a flat into a rocker. So it makes it easier to press, jib, butter, play around with it. It's easier to engage on edge, but you still have all that stability underfoot. It's one of those profiles that you can charge with and you can play with. This board is available in both regular, wide. I've ridden a lot of versions of the Worldwide Weapon. I've ridden it when it was camber. I've ridden it when it was camber and rocker. And now we're in this new version of it years later. The board's stiffer than it's been, but it's still a jib board at heart. It's not quite a full-blown noodle like it's been, but it's not a middle-of-the-road park flex. It's one of those jib boards with a little bit of snap to it, which means it's very playful. It's very, very easy to engage and twist. You're going to notice that there's a lot of flex in the tips and a lot of flex between the feet with a lot of torsional give. It's just where the insert packs are that it's a little stiffer, and I mean ever so slightly stiffer. But you can throw the idea of stability completely out the window. This is a board that's not damp. It's very lively. It's very playful. You're going to notice chatter at high speeds. You're going to feel this board bend and flex with every contour. It's a board that could get knocked around if you're just getting into rutted out terrain and not prepared to flex with it. With this camber profile, it's not the snappiest thing out there. It has a skate-like pop to it. It's ample enough to get you onto an urban rail, maybe ollie over some bushes or a low-hanging slow sign, or a small child that fell down in front of you, because fuck them. If they're on skis, they're probably fat. Who cares? Basically, this is a board that it'll get the job done, and the more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. Jibbing and buttering is what this board was built for. You look right at it, you see that softer flex, you see the rocker in the tips, and you just know you've got a platform for locking into any kind of press. You want to swivel and sizzle and get sideways, go for it. This is a board that you engage when you want, how aggressively you want. You don't have to worry about it hooking up when you're getting sideways on a nose or tail butter, because that rocker does help keep the contact points elevated. I mean, if you do get edge heavy, yeah, you might hook, but other than that, that's up to you. You just need to know how to fucking butter, I guess. When you're pressing on a rail, it locks in smoothly, and it'll hold it all the way through the length of the feature. And if you're getting sideways, it's soft enough that it will hug the rail. Basically, this board was designed for rails. I mean, that was its original purpose when Travis Parker invented it years and years ago. It still holds true to this day. The fact it's still in the line, it's still a board that you can just play around with on the mountain, speaks volumes about it. I'm not going to lie, you can carve on this board, but it's going to suck. You drive this board just even moderately aggressive, it will wash out. This board's designed for tight, quick turns, setting up for a feature, or the occasional long, held-out carve in softer snow that isn't chundery, that isn't bumped out. It's got edge hold to an extent that it allows you not to be on a saucer sled, but other than that, this isn't a board for carving aggressively with. It's not a board for going out and just ripping groomers unless you're just doing butter tricks, pretty much. That's how this board's designed. You just got to deal with it. If you're looking for something you can carve with, there's other boards in the K2 lineup that are a little beefier that you can do this with. This board is definitely 100% for a jib rider. Someone that's just playing around on the whole mountain, and their whole mountain consists of just going to the terrain park or a rope tow, something that doesn't have a lot of vertical, like those East Coast small hills or stuff in the Midwest. This is just a fuck around deck for just playing around, having fun with your friends. You're not going to be aggressive with it by any means. It's a board you're going to feel everything with. Here's a look currently at what boards are out on the market that you could also be looking at as opposed to the Worldwide Weapon from K2. The Rome Artifact Rocker, the Libtech Box Scratcher, the Flow Verve, the Capita Horoscope, the Battalion Wally, the DC PBJ, The Arbor Draft. Remember to comment, share, subscribe, and like this video. That way you can see all the relevant or irrelevant snowboarding content that we're putting out for you guys. So smash that bell down below, that way you're getting a notification. And I'll see you guys in another video. If you've been enjoying all these product reviews and you haven't been buying through our affiliate program, which is down there, why don't you check out our Patreon? This is a great way for you to get involved with us. There's some great rewards on there, and it helps fund us so we can do more product reviews for you guys that enjoy what we're doing.